What if the solution to human-wildlife conflict is simply managing wildlife but restoring the connections that they have lost? Despite advances in ecological research, dispersal remains one of the least understood yet most important behaviors in large mammals. For species like white-tailed deer, movement across the landscape is essential. Dispersal and migration allows population to maintain genetic diversity, access seasonal resources, and support ecosystem processes at a landscape scale. This is not a new behavior, surprisingly. It is one of the most fundamental patterns in the history of life on Earth. Yet modern infrastructure continues to disrupt it, as featured here. Wildlife corridors offer a solution rooted in restoration rather than restriction. By reconnecting fragmented habitats, corridors allow animals to move more freely between regions, reducing conflict, supporting biodiversity, and strengthening ecosystem resilience. Even as technology improves our ability to track wildlife, each new data point reinforces the same conclusion: movement matters. The Journal of Ecology and Evolution has reported in 2021 of an individual dispersing 300 kilometers over a 22-day period by moving on average 13.6 kilometers a day, achieving a straight line distance of 215 kilometers, which was 174 kilometers longer than any other distance recorded for an adult male deer. This highlights how, although we don't fully understand white-tailed deer and their movement ecology, there is still a lot to learn into the future. This raises an important question: what happens when populations become isolated? Without long-distance connectivity to regions like upstate New York and Pennsylvania, genetic diversity declines and long-term survival becomes uncertain. This is not just a local issue, it is part of a broader regional challenge that requires cooperation across state boundaries. The Appalachian region has already been identified as a critical biodiversity corridor for the future. As climate change continues to reshape habitat, these connected landscapes will become increasingly important not only for wildlife but for the long-term stability of ecosystems across North America. There is, however, a hopeful path. Through increased awareness, collaboration, and initiatives focused on habitat connectivity, we have the opportunity to reshape our relationship with the natural world. Wildlife corridors could one day allow for the return of species that once defined these landscapes, from elk to large predators like wolves and mountain lions. Not as a return to the past, but as a step forward toward a more balanced and functional ecosystem. At the end of the day, this is not just a story about deer. It's about a connection between species, landscapes, and ourselves. And the choices we make now will determine whether those connections are restored or lost entirely.